she's got 3 children. Two.
The guy anabwa ikabwa number 3 vanamchaja na damage.
Babili hapa nibanda ngayo inango.
Ni guys venango.
No, you see, this is an aspect also we need to talk about. No, look at this.
No. That guy was charged and he paid for damage. It's okay. So you choose
everything that you get from a wife. From everything you get from a wife, it's like you've paid for it. I think it's. But why is that others are expensive and others are not? Because the children are going to be the same. Because I put a degree, I put a chance, I pay now.
Welcome to Kutika. We are here with Mlanga. Hi Mlanga.
Thanks. How are you?
I'm alright. Yeah, today we have no MD on set. We just want to be the two of us. Yeah, so that we can entertain you, our audience, and we can inform you as well. So today we want to talk about why is it that a man is the one who pays damages? Is it the right thing? Why should a man pay damages?
Which damages are we talking about?
Yeah, maenda, wankaramimba uligero. Then they say no, the man should pay. And yet, when everything was happening, unambira nagero, avomera, and all that, why should it be a man to pay?
In my view, it's not supposed to pay. I'm very honest, and I've always been of that view, and I don't see myself changing. You see, the issue that you, no woman will ever get pregnant without a man involvement. And no man, the two cannot work together unless they agree.
Yeah.
So it's a situation where the two people agreed, but when there's a thing, there's no damage. What damage anyway? Do they pay for? And why do they equate damage? You know.
So for me, the rationale of paying damage comes from the fact that it's a woman who's going to be burdened, the one who's going to carry the pregnancy, and mind you, that is your child. So you're not paying that money, to punish you, but to support that child that you have put in there for carrying, for food, the parents who will be keeping that girl, the inconvenience that girl has brought because she's...
So that damage is able to compensate all that?
It's not really going to compensate, but just to show that you've agreed and you are willing to support, and that is a starting point.
In the first place, okay, why look, at the end of it all, it's benefiting both a man and a woman. Yes, there's, there are certain things we should not be looking at them in a bad way. I know there's a reason why they call it damage. There's a lot that is involved. It's just some of the things that are a little bit tricky or sensitive to say now. But if you ask the elderly, they'll tell you why it's called damage. There's so many aspects to why it is called damage. Okay? So now, forget about the damage aspect, but I want us to focus on if I'm going to make a decision to do this. Okay, and the other person makes a decision to do that. So at the end of it, it's an agreement that two people have agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. Then when that agreement has been made, then later on, it's like you pull out one and you say, let this person pay, because damage to me comes in as punishment. It's nothing to do with no agreeing, because agreeing by the word of mouth or saying I've accepted, it's good enough.
So the other thing is, looking at who demands more, it's the man. Amapandilira paka mugero anga kane, but the man is the one who's there.
Here we are not saying guys apandilira what. Here we are talking, they have agreed. It is a known fact that we have heard, we have...
So is it a responsibility of a woman to prevent a pregnancy, or is it the responsibility of the guy? So mwamu unafunika wenda na condom watu waziwa ndo chitavaso.
That is a very tricky and sensitive thing. No, it's
No,
not.
so
It's not a responsibility of a woman alone. It's not a responsibility of a man alone. It's a responsibility of the two. They need to agree. Do you want to get pregnant now, or let's put it this way? And the elderly will say, do we want to get pregnant? Because when one person is pregnant, all of you are pregnant. Though I think it is more closer to people that are married. That that kind of thing they say to people that are married. But either way, because pregnancy, whether outside marriage or marriage in marriage, is pregnancy. A child born out of outside marriage or inside marriage, it's still a child. Okay, there's no difference. I wish we could see, like, when someone is walking, like, oh, that one was born out of marriage or wedlock, then that one was born. There's no difference.
No, there's no difference.
So at the end of it,
productive things in society than when I end up
there's no much of a difference. Only maybe it's just a handling and stuff, but otherwise procedures and everything is the same, because at the end of it, it's a person that's going to. But the question now we are looking at, wait, look at this. Everything happens and she falls pregnant. Okay, in the first place, and mind you, maybe you are thinking, saying, no guys, no, things have changed now. In case you don't know, things have changed now. You will find manje gero ndio wamene afunisi na kufunisisa. You get the point. So now, does it mean when it is a girl that was pushing for it, now a guy can come out and even fold his arm and like, no, it's because it's you that was pushing it, and he refuses to pay damage?
So in that case, it's even difficult to prove. We all know Vamafunis and Vamun. Because even the refuse of condom, usage of condom, Vamun and Deva cannot know condom is our feeling. But a woman, whether condom or not, they'll still enjoy. So obviously that's the reason why the damage is slapped on a guy.
You know that moment like someone has said something. I want to say something now. I'm like, okay, how do I put this? How do I put this?
Is it going to
no, you see, I don't know. Maybe I don't know the people you're interacting with. But me, I'm interacting with people that what you have told me is different. It's different from what I hear. Okay? It's different from what I have seen. It's different. Is it yesterday or the other day? I was talking to this guy. He's like my young guy like this, younger than me. And he was like, you know, sometimes you find to say, no, this girl comes and this is the only opportunity that you have, you know. And you know, that kind of a thing. Then he says, you know, that kind of a thing. I'm like, are you serious? I said, yes, I should pack off you sometimes. You get the point.
Yeah.
So what you are telling me right now, and the people that I'm interacting with, in these schools, the universities that you see, the girl is actually even the one calling the guy, I want this and that, can I come, or should we go, or whatever it is. Are you getting the point?
Yeah.
Not beating about the bush. No, guys, no, this time the girl is actually cool. Okay? Because this time I think, I don't know if it's modernity or something. It has reached a point where, in the old days, it used to be like a woman is doing a favor to a man. But even when she wants, she would try to act hard to get what you want. Hard to get.
Yeah, hard to get.
Yeah, hard to get. Try to act hard to get.
By some time.
This time it is different. I was actually watching a video of a certain girl also. Should be on TikTok. She said she's seated and this guy comes and says, hi. He says, hi, how are you? My name is so. My number is so. Do you want A, B, C, D? I am ready. Can we go now?
Yeah, so
you see that kind of a thing. The guy had to like, hey, you know, that kind of a thing, because guys want to chase.
Yeah. So
it is the nature of men, yes, to chase and says, guys, India men are pushing, but things have changed. Then on top of that, things have changed. Angaranami.
So the issue still stands. I've never seen a girl making a first step. It's usually a guy. Well, now and all that, you advance.
In that category.
So once you advance, obviously, if anything happens, it's you came to me.
You are interacting
it's
with the
you
wrong
we
people.
should judge.
Boy, you've missed it. Begin to interact with people not of your age, slightly young. begin to interact with people that are of your age or slightly above your age, that they want that. And they'll not beat about the bush, just tell you, boom.
Mm-hmm.
There's a friend of mine who just told me, like, me, if a guy comes, I just want you to be straight. What did you want from me? Don't come to me, begin to tell me, no, I like you. No, just say if you want the sex that you want from me, I like you, and I would want to have sex with you. So that I know my position with you. I don't want to start assuming. You're telling me a story of a serious relationship, yet all you want is just to have sex with me.
Yeah, so all you know, still, the guy is the one who should be charged. So, for instance, if you are, we all know that all consequences, or all reactions have consequences, and one of the consequences is responsibility. Once you father someone's, you father a child or you impregnate someone's child, obviously that responsibility is yours. We need to charge you for inconveniencing us, for inconveniencing that child, the damage you talked about, and obviously it's you as a
So
guy.
your child didn't know to say it's going to inconvenience him.
So
she agreed to go.
Yes, your
So,
child, the girl that we're talking about, she didn't know she was going to get pregnant. She didn't know pregnancy brings about all this.
So
all she wanted
obviously
was sex.
she
She was not forced. She was not forced. By the
No,
way,
the forcing is not there, but the trust is, this is a guy.
Yes,
Obviously,
this is a guy.
for him to push this far, azasunga mwana azalipira
Mwana
n'amadamage.
angasunga, but why is he supposed to pay?
Damage, we-
No, pay. Let them pay. The two of them. Let them pay. There were two of them. Why do you subject only one to pay?
Sanya mulako uja winanga.
What do you mean, Sanyamala? You know, everything has got benefits and everything has got consequences.
Mhm.
You understand that?
Yeah.
One of the benefits and consequences that she knew this is likely to happen. Okay? That needs to happen. And by the way, I have noted something. This damage is like, it's only for... Have you ever seen maybe a 45-year-old person has been impregnated and they are demanding damage? I've never heard anyone.
Does it apply
It's-
to
no,
all
it's-
people?
Okay, the damage, does it apply to the young ones or what?
It's there even in older people, but usually it's not so much broadcast compared to younger.
You've heard a person who's 45 years old
Being impregnated, and the guy who impregnated for the third child was charged damage, but on a lesser price, looking that she had already got kids.
she's got she's got 3 children.
Two. The
Fire
guy
alarm.
anabwa ikapuwa number 3 vanamcharge damage.
Babili hapa nibanda ngai winango.
Ni guys venango. Manje
No, you see, this is an aspect also we need to talk about. No,
never charged.
Look at
But
this.
all I know is
No.
the third guy was charged and he paid for damage.
you see this.
That's inconveniencing anyone now.
Okay. Alright.
No, it's there.
No, check out.
So it's reality.
I thought
happening.
damage was the first pregnancy only.
That's what I knew. But after growing up and interacting with these marriage issues, I've seen people being charged, even on older guys or older ladies, and even ladies who are even got kids. They'll still charge you something.
I think for me, I should have experienced where someone who is actually
You've never heard someone who's already got a child or two, they still charge the guy who's impregnated the second one or third for damages.
it's there.
It's there, they still do.
But doesn't make sense. Why
Doesn't,
why should the
but-
person, the second child or person to be, and to make the matters worse, the third one?
And I don't know whether there should be revising of these is it what we call cultural norms or what? So a norm, even for the white wedding, all we knew is for someone to wear a white wedding, you don't need to have a kid or being married before. But we are seeing people who are wearing white weddings, they have been married.
White
before,
weddings
and
were meant for virgins.
Yes, those who have not given birth before or any.
No, not that kind of virginity I'm talking about. It's like
Okay,
look
it
at
was
this.
meant for virgins.
Virginity,
but obviously
virginity
those
In all aspects.
virginity is like looked as a person who's never given birth is a virgin. As long as she has never given birth.
In modern society.
Obviously.
Huh?
No.
The secondary
Who's name,
virginity. There's secondary virginity.
Ukafika kutesha obviously tertiary huko hivi.
So we are seeing all those, and we are also seeing people who are virgins and have not got kids wearing red wedding dress. I saw a paper recently, a young girl getting married with a paper wedding.
I was one time I think I was privileged to see where this white thing came about. It had nothing to do with anyway. White symbolizes a lot of things like purity, just cleanness itself.
Yeah.
And it was, is it a color of royalty, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So what, at the end of it, when you talk about all this, about white wedding, who's got white, not too long ago, these things used to be followed. No, she cannot wear a white wedding, she's got a child. No, she cannot, we have seen this time people even, you've seen people doing weddings when she's pregnant, eh?
Yeah, a lot.
She's pregnant and she's even wearing a white wedding. So white wedding was for people like, it used to be more this like unwritten rule.
Yeah.
Like you cannot take shan. We used to know even when you see someone at the wedding and they didn't wear a thing, you know it's either she's been married before or she's got a child before that marriage.
Yeah, these are the colors.
Yeah. So but coming to charging a guy and damage, it is not making sense. Why? To make the matters worse, a person has got a third child and the third person has been charged damage.
For damages?
For two different guys.
For two different guys. So it's like now it's like a business, man. The first, yes, it becomes like it's business. Because if you're going to be charging damage like 5 pin or something, you need capital, your man. Capital.
But
and damage,
they are
not
not
pay even
they are not
10,000.
charging you for the things that you have in there. Uyu amdamage, ankara na mimba, azanyamura ijamimba. So they need to charge you. Now we nangwa kabwa ikamo mimba, azanyamura uje. Does it mean that if it's the third child, we nangwa kutandiza kunyamura? You have still been
so
damaged.
you're telling me if there was a way on how to get pregnant and
Obviously.
Obviously. Okay, so now listen. Let me apply logic here. Let me apply logic. A woman gets pregnant. You heard of test tube children, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. And with this technology, there's what you call a surrogate. Surrogate, eh?
Yeah.
The one that where she has gotten pregnant, but they transfer someone to carry the pregnancy. Okay. And those people, there are people that are doing business like that. Yeah. Okay. So is that damage applicable? Who's supposed to receive damage then?
The person who's carrying obviously is paid for you to.
But why are we calling that one not damage? Why are we not calling it damage? Because the person who's going to, this time you can choose. You fall pregnant with your wife, but another person carries the pregnancy up to 9 months. That is not their.
Obviously, it's not going to be called damage because the payment that has been agreed, it's the same. It's the same as when you fall pregnant in a home, in your own house where you've got a husband, wife, every paper signed. That is not damage. There's an agreement. So in that environment where you hire someone.
Now, when you're going to say that, the question: why is it people who are married they don't pay damage every time? One of first damage when you pay. She's carrying. What's the difference? She's carrying.
No, and then shall I be a dowry guy? So dowry.
Dowry is in short you are saying dowry is the indirect way of paying damage.
So it's like everything that we consume is paid for. So for instance, if you
even if he pays damage, he's still going to be paying food and other things.
Yeah. Yes. So listen, when you marry, it's like you pay for the bundle for the rest of the life. So if you don't marry, you pay my services, and one of as a prostitute, you pay for that particular service. It's all paid. So
my mind has reached very far.
It's all paid. So you choose
everything that you get from a wife. From everything you get from a wife, it's like you've paid for it. I think is it? But why is that others are expensive and others are not? Because the children are going to be the same. At because I put a degree, I put a chan, I paper now.
Anapunzi.
There's something that is not making sense. It's not adding up. It's not adding up. So in all, in my view, I'm just telling myself, okay, at the end of it all, these things are not standard, and they were just made by somebody, and will allowed and accepted things that we don't even understand. If you ask me, why I'm saying so, look at even when it comes to paying of dowry or payment whatever you need to pay when you're married. Okay, when you're married, there's that payment you pay, but you find to say other tribes or other ethnic groupings in this world, a woman is the one that pays.
Yeah.
So the question that comes there, when a woman falls pregnant in that circle of thing, who pays damage? Is there damage in the people that thing? Where
I
women
think
are the
in
one?
the Indian community,
Indian
there is
community.
damage, yes.
Who pays damage?
It's the man. So dowry, it's a woman that pays. But for damage, it's a man that pays.
It's not making sense.
Yes.
Why should dowry be paid by a woman and damage be paid by a man? I think there isn't none. There isn't. We need,
no, there is.
I
Yeah,
need-
we can. Yeah,
need
try and
to-
look it up.
yes.
Yeah, there is.
Because-
I think there's where we used to stay some time back in Longekas, there was an Indian family that was there. So one of the Indian lady fell pregnant by another Indian from Kamwala and all that. So there was that damage conversation that started, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just need to go in details and understand whether they picked that couch of damage here, but the Indian community is still practicing of the dowry, the woman paying dowry, but they still.
But even if you say damage that is being paid
for
for
damage,
even if you say it's because the woman carries, you know that damage money does not even go to a person who's pregnant.
no.
It goes to who?
Yeah, but the uncles who have been inconvenienced and disrespected. How do you get pregnant in our home without you going there? That is disrespecting.
Today you're saying things that are really shocking me, you know.
No, it is. You're even setting a very bad. You know, once someone falls pregnant in the home where the other younger ones, it's most likely that the other kids will also end up without a wedding and will be falling pregnant like that.
So how is the paying cushioning that way?
It's not a cushioning.
Because
it's just
paying, if you say paying,
it's a penalty.
To show that there's consequence.
Yes, it's a penalty.
who has disrespected those elders?
The man. Why? It's the man who has got the power to go to that family to say, I want to marry this person.
No.
So now
because
you start
you
eating
see what happens
things without you going there. You are
so you see what happens. It's a story of someone who said a certain guardian was telling them to say, you understand? Telling because actually, what was the statement again? What did he say? You see that kind of,
falling pregnant with your.
So okay, what we're trying to put across is this girl knows for her to agree, unless she says she was forced, for her to agree, okay, for her to agree, meaning she knew what she was doing and she's ready for anything that will come afterwards. Okay?
And ready to receive the damage from the guy when he pays. It's everything.
I disagree. It's not supposed to be like that. But all in all, I think this thing needs to be looked into, and I feel we need to.
So that's culture and norms. You don't just revise like on or the bylaws. So it's something that is, you find it, it's embedded in that community, and you have to live by those norms. I think those are some of the things, even if you question, the initial intent was at the beginning. So even if life has evolved, the perception is when we introduced this law or this norm, this was what was prevailing then, and we assume it will continue until Christ comes. So I think norms are something that is very difficult to just amend here and there. We've also seen the issue of Chirangamuliro. Chirangamuliro is only for the members. Now you find the losses are doing Chirangamuliro.
No, it's just that I agree with that. It's not to say they do Chirangamuliro. They do that tradition. They call them different names. Now, just because now the only prominent name we've known is Chirangamuliro. So you think now even the Roses are doing that, but with their own special name. And they used to do that. They've been doing that. Chirangamuliro, it's just in English, how can we, it's like showing someone, displaying the skill and the type of food that we are feeding.
Yeah, we eat in that particular culture. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. So is it that you're trying to say that the cultures are now crisscrossing, and they're sharing these norms, and now it's now becoming like every other culture can now use the norms from all other cultures. It's now mixing now.
Yeah. So as we are because of this global village that has been created by the internet, the WhatsApp, and what. So people are now sharing ideas and are able to see what is making sense from this culture and try to fuse
so like we can bring this culture, but anyway, traditional culture is slowly dying in Africa, and it's a very dangerous thing, because now we'll have no identity whatsoever. Because I can tell you to say, you can imagine if we're going to, anytime soon, we're going to remain with this generation to be the grandfathers.
Yeah.
So tell me any tradition or culture that you know so much that you're going to transfer to your children. Because already our culture has been diluted in the way that the way children are dressing now, it is aided by their mothers and fathers. Okay? And they're okay with it. Mostly, guys might not be okay. You know, that kind of thing. Those that are very vocal and authoritative a little bit and can speak out without their wives or the mother saying anything. How do you dress like that? But sometimes men, we tend to die from inside, because as a man or as a father, I'll be like, no, I can't say that, because the wife will think I'm looking at my child or this person who I'm keeping in a different way. Maybe I'm getting attracted. So in that regard, the man will choose to keep quiet, but yet the problem is growing. Not because he's liking the girl or something, but because it's like, it is becoming difficult to tell your child that he's not dressed properly, because it will sound inappropriate for a man to tell a certain grown-up girl who is above 20 to say no, if especially if they've not been talking about anything to do with certain sensitive parts of the body.
I think those are some of the issues that we need to look at critically as men. So one of it is the one that you've talked about, dress code. The people you are keeping, you tell someone to go and dress properly, maybe people around you, your wife or other people think maybe you are being attracted to that child. We've also looked at the paying of damage. There's also another one, one of our bosses highlighted in terms of the sexual harassment conduct. These policies in institutions. So where the police talks about, if you look at this person in a,
and why is it that it always just applies to women?
You know, that kind.
If a woman is going to look at a certain way, is going to look at a man in a certain way, it will not be sexual harassment.
It can't be.
But should you look at a woman in a certain
way,
it's sexual harassment.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to prove, to say no. Nachimulolesha for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Once he says no, I was uncomfortable the way you were looking at my behind or my chest, it becomes an issue, and you'll be interrogated and sometimes being fired or being warned and cautioned. So I think those are some of the unfair
things that
treatments that we can cite out.
Yeah, that's true, because the payment of damage, especially when the two people agreed, even when it comes to payment, they need to pay, because the disrespect, like you put it, has been brought by the two people. Okay, for two, it takes two to tango.
To tango, yeah.
You know, it takes two to tango. So if it takes two to tango, even payment, it should take two to tango in terms of payment.
Yeah.
So that is the only fair thing, because we are not going to be championing these things only when it benefits us. To say no, human rights, feminism, these other things, I don't know if they might sound a little bit out of context, but what I'm trying to put across is there's this championing of things, and it favors women. It will take the preference.
Yeah,
it will get the attention of almost everyone compared to a man. But because it's a man who suffers, trust me, if it was a woman that was suffering today, as we speak, there was going to be someone advocating to say no, men. No. Yes. So even this time, I think we need advocates for men when it comes to that, because men are not supposed to be charged alone. Yeah. If it is damaged, it is damaged. Okay, and needs to be paid by the two of them as a discipline, so that maybe we can even reduce these numbers.
Maybe such tago enjoy enjoy sex in Vamo.
There's nothing like that.
So maybe we can bring some clarity to it. Maybe you can also highlight maybe more on the edges, not really that running away from the points, because I think you've closed it up very well, and also it makes sense that these people should also consider to say that both of them they agree with this thing. Okay. But then, in which age group does it really? Where did it come from? Did it start with the younger ones? They're saying at school, so what you did, Chanchani, now there's what? How do we look at that in the ages? And also just tuning it to the...
So ages, the way it was damaged, they would slap it on someone who's working, who has impregnated a girl who's not working. But along the way, they started charging even school-going kids. If a school-going child impregnates the other school-going child, the parents for the girl would demand that the parents for the boy pays for that. And I think there was a lot of unfairness on the parents. Are we there? Are we the one? Because even us, we were trying by all means to safeguard such a thing happening. And some time back, the way it was, the person who impregnates a girl was allowed to go to school. The only thing they were going to do is to compensate by paying damage. Yeah. So the girl, some time back, once you fall pregnant as a woman, that's the end of your school. You are not going to be allowed to go into school.
Yeah, it was looked at to say you influence other girls to actually do the act or go in the path that you took. Yes. But so with activism, it's like there was you can come back, you still have the right to education. Then later on, it was revised again where even when you're pregnant, you can still continue going to school with your pregnancy.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I remember at the time I was in high school, I think we had one or two that I think we even wrote exams together. She was pregnant.
Yeah, but recently Magufuli wrote a law where he allowed, if you fall pregnant, you are not going to be allowed in school, and the boy who has impregnated that person won't be allowed. So what happened at that time, there were a lot of pregnancies in Tanzania, and I think Magufuli wanted to curtail that, and I think but it received a lot of backlash, and a lot of NGO tried to come in to fight that, to say it is aggressive, and where we are coming from. If someone is pregnant, the mind is still open to them to read a book, to pass exams, and to foster their future forward.
Yeah, because again, we're looking at I think this damage thing should be also age needs to factor in. Yeah. There's no way a person will be paying damage for someone who is above a certain age. Because you see, what is happening is sometimes guys are even tricked. This girl wants to have a child. She's 35 and above. Yeah. You know, she's reached a point she has to you know what, I don't care whether I don't get married or not, but I just want to have a child. Okay? And she sometimes she even tells this guy, I just want to have a child. And the guy agrees. Okay, I think we can have a child. I also want to have a child, but it's in you know, that kind of a thing. Then later on, as she falls pregnant, elders come in and they charge this guy damage. Why? And that particular time, the girl cannot speak anything.
Yeah.
It's other people that who were not even there
when that agreement was made. Yeah.
Was made.
And you can't. It is also very inappropriate for the guy to bring that topic to say no.
Oh, if you sign shani, no, sign shani. You want to have a child, sign here. Tomorrow, if we are going to have a meeting, like, oh, he has agreed. She said she wanted to have a child, and I agreed. She signed here. This is what she said. Did you sign? Yes. Period. I think, guys, this is the easiest way on how to run away from damage. I've just given you a strategy.
So thank you, viewers, for staying with us. Please give us your comments. What is your view about guys alone paying the damages if there's a pregnancy? We want to hear from you, ladies. We want to hear your view. Is it fair to slap the damage charge on the guy only? What is your view? Thanks.